Hello everybody, Justin from Stillness in the Storm here, sitshow.blogspot.com. I'm going to bring you two videos that I had sent to me by Goode involving disclosure of the anti-aging program. One of them was on Tucker Carlson from, I believe, a few days ago, and the other was a short video on the lip. And they both discuss a drug. Let me see if I can find the name here. They both discuss the drug called metformin, which is apparently a diabetic drug that is involved in the treatment of diabetes, and it helps oxygenate inside of the cell. And this is part of what is attributed to why it's so anti-aging. Now, Goode has said in his disclosures and his testimony that part of the 20 and Back program, which for those who don't know involves somebody spending a whole tour of duty for 20 years in a various secret space programs, and then going back to a facility, having their biology actually regressed back 20 years to the point when they actually left for the program, and then having their mind wiped, and then placed and intersected back into the moment when they left. That's what the 20 and Back program is. Now, he speaks of this program. William Tompkins is another whistleblower, an insider. He's worked for over 60 years in what he calls the Space Navy. And he said during his time in the Douglas think tank, they were actually developing this anti-aging program, an anti-aging pill or injection where somebody would take these pills over the course of, I think he said it was 3 pills over the course of 6 months or 3 months. And it would regress you back to the point of, for men, it was about age 29 to 30. For females or women, it was about age 21. And they would actually have an extended life of up to, I think the estimates that he gave were anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 years. And they had an immediate increase of 400% improvement in their IQ and cognitive abilities. So clearly, there's some discrepancy between what Goode and William Tompkins discuss and this anti-aging pill, but in relation to the whole partial disclosure, limited disclosure narrative, we have 2 independent media sources and obviously all the other ancillary sources that are going to be coming out as well, discussing this life extension pill, this anti-aging pill. And what this is a way to prepare the masses and humanity for the idea that anti-aging and what we could has also been called neg entropy, life and biology effects, is real. And not to speak too much in this topic, because this is a really big topic, but basically what we're talking about is the ability for the body to reach a level of homeostasis wherein it ceases to be entropic, it ceases to degrade over time. So there's these things called telomeres that are actual proteins that wrap around the chromosome of your DNA, and those help to bind and keep everything in close order and where it's supposed to be every time mitosis takes place. And mitosis is when the cell divides, and that's what happens. Every second of every day, there's millions of cells that are constantly being divided to propagate your life organism. And depending on who you talk to, people say that every 3 years or 7 years, every cell in your body has been replaced, and every substance in your body has been replaced because of this process. So what that means is that developing a system of replication, because your body's constantly replicating itself, so that you have less transcription errors or less errors in the process of actually making these copies, you're going to maintain the same type of health and vitality that you did. And it's even possible to reverse the entropy of your life organism. So this disclosure that we're seeing in the media and the news is arguably part of this partial disclosure narrative. And while they're talking about making this pill that could potentially extend people's lives 120 years, this is probably just the first step, if Goode and William Tompkins are to be believed. And as a final comment, I just want to say that there are means of achieving this process without using external stimuli. So by developing holistic consciousness processes, because consciousness affects not only just the mental state, but your physiological state, you can actually reduce the entropy from your life. So by being less angry, by being less judgmental, bellicose, or warrior-like, when it's not called for, that is, you can actually reduce the amount of energy and biochemicals that are produced in the body that take away from health and vitality. For example, when the adrenal system is triggered, that's the system that kicks into fight or flight response. It releases all these chemicals in the body. Adrenaline is one of them, that prepare you for some type of encounter. Well, adrenaline, if it's in your body for too long, it can actually be toxic. So if there's too much cortisol in your body, there's too much adrenaline, there's too much epinephrine, all these chemicals actually prevent the body from maintaining that homeostasis. And unless you're doing meditation and grounding and eating properly and doing holistic brain activities to actually integrate and heal your trauma, eventually these things just keep piling up and piling up. And then on top of that, you get secondary effects where you're actually eating foods and taking drugs and doing things with your body that to alleviate these hidden traumas, instead of actually healing them in the first place, so you don't have to turn to things to support you through a transitionary process. So in other words, when people go through profound states of trauma, they tend to develop addictions and escapist pastimes that allow them to suppress the trauma and the sensations that they experienced without actually addressing the causal factors. And that your body retains that information, retains that energy. So it's just like a waveform. The only way to truly deal with that waveform, instead of suppressing it, is to balance it through holistic means. So let's go ahead and review these videos. First, we're going to look at the short clip from Tucker Carlson, and then we're going to review the lip video. And I will also include links to other articles where we can read more about this anti-aging program.
And here's something new. Vladimir Putin may be on a quest to live forever. I'm not making that up. The Russian president toured a pharmaceutical plant in St. Petersburg yesterday, not Florida, Russia, with his Kazakh counterpart. Russian biotech company Goode is working on anti-aging pills that scientists say could increase life expectancy to 130 years within the next 20 to 30 years or so. Goode scientists told the leaders they're expecting the first results of youth pill lab tests within a year. Frankly, that can mean only one thing: bare-chested pics of Vlad for decades and decades to come. I apologize for ruining your holiday.
The FDA has just approved a human trial of the drug metformin. Now, the drug's already used for diabetic patients, but now they want to see if this drug can actually stop the aging process in humans. Researchers all over the world claim to have proof that metformin extends the life of animals, and they think it'll happen in humans too, allowing people to live up to 120 years old. And they're now hoping to recruit 3,000 people 60 years and older to participate in trials as soon as next year. So this is actually happening very soon, Joe, so it's really cool. I have a quote from Professor Gordon Lithgow of the Buck Institute of Aging right here in California. Here's what she has to say. I've been doing research into aging for 25 years, and the idea that we would be talking about clinical trials in humans for anti-aging drugs would be thought inconceivable, but there's every reason to believe it's possible. I think this is really, really interesting and actually surprising how soon it's going to start.
Well, yes, this is potentially the fountain of youth that scientists have been searching for such a long time. It does seem crazy on the one hand that we have so many developments in terms of technology, artificial intelligence, yet it has taken so long to find a drug like this that could potentially elongate the human life. Now, this drug has obviously been through trials before for its diabetic users, but this is the first time that it will go through clinical trials trials on humans, specifically to monitor cells and to find out how it prolongs life. So this is actually a remarkable achievement, and it's something that scientists have been searching for a long, long time. We're talking about 70 years old being the new 50 years old, and all because of an increase in oxygen inside of the cells.
Right, and like I said before in other clips, I'm not in any way a scientist, but what I could gather from reading a lot of different articles on this morning, basically, I'm going to put it very simply. What this drug does is it boosts the number of oxygen molecules that are released into your cells. That boosts their strength and their ability to survive for a longer period of time. When these cells, they get weak, what they do is they split up. And over time, as they split up, they become weaker and weaker, and this prolongs that process so that it doesn't happen as soon, therefore allowing you to stay healthier and live much longer. I mentioned researchers from all over the world. A group of Belgian researchers have been testing metformin on a species of roundworm. Looking at the aging process in these roundworms, they found that not only they aged more slowly, but they also stayed healthier for very much longer. So if you can imagine, when you're younger, your immune system is stronger, so not only do you feel younger and look younger, but your immune system will be able to fight off diseases for a much longer time. So I think this is really, really exciting for a lot of reasons. And right now, metformin's extremely cheap. I'm wondering how this is going to affect the cost of such a drug.
And also very accessible. I expect that many people out there will be ramping up their purchases of this diabetic medicine even before these trials take place.
Right. So up until now, it's kind of been this slow, gradual increase in life expectancy, but for the first time, we're seeing a pill that can shoot that up, and it affects everyone in the whole entire world extremely.